Make yourself famous!
Ooh, man. Sully just doesn't get old hearing that. Doesn't get old hearing that. And of course, it doesn't get old seeing a great friend here in Justin, of course. And look, we got to start this off the right way. Hello, all, and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr., Devin Lee Crimes. Alongside me, Devin, how you doing today, brother?
Oh, it's Thursday, so it's almost Friday, so I'm happy. I'm really happy. It sounds like I'm being fake, but I'm being legit honest. So I don't know. It's when people say they're happy, I feel like they're not being honest about it.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know how.
There's always something bothering somebody.
Yeah, I was like, you just didn't sound too convincing. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's why I was like, all right, I'm breaking gimmick here. I ain't really that happy.
See, and that's the problem. How can you not be happy when we have the GOAT here, the boss, also the Redeemer, Justin? Man, just in time to 11. Brother, how's you doing today?
Oh my God, I am happy to be back here. I feel like it's been, carry the 12 and forever, dude.
It's been so long. It has been so long, too long. Man, we're definitely gonna change that. We're gonna change that for sure.
I'm always happy to come on your guys' show. I'm happy as hell to say thank you again for coming on last night for the Dynamite watch along. That was a blast.
That was fun.
Yeah, huge shout out to Circle of Debate. We were at the AEW watch party, had so much fun, man. Met some great people. We were just talking about it off. Huge shout out to Kayla. Look, I'm sorry. Just huge shout out to Kayla. Just in general.
Ready for the karaoke.
DK, Get Your Jess, the chef. Man, it was just some great people that we met here at Circle of Debate. And honestly, it's all thanks to Justin, too. It's a huge thanks to Justin. We met Justin first. And, man, then honestly, I was just thinking about this earlier. I was like, man, this few years of friendship has been fire, honestly. Right. Like, it has been dope. And we are just so happy that we met you, brother. I just got to let that out there.
Dude, I am happy. Like I said, y'all were always a part of those big, like, giant follow Fridays that I had and everything else. Or as I changed it most of the time during Saturdays. And I would just be like, it's the shout out Saturdays, whatever you want it to be. Like, y'all were involved in it. You were always involved in it. And, because you guys are freaking awesome. You guys are like, again, like Ivan always says over on Circle Debate, y'all are family, basically. So I love you guys. And I appreciate every single time you guys, pop up in the chat, or you guys have me on here, or y'all come over on the show. Like when you were on the flagship show, and we did that for like 6 hours. But thank God we don't have to worry about that no more, because the flagship show's kind of been, revamped now. So now it's just topics and not full on recaps anymore, so that's a good thing.
Oh, fire. Just tell us what's going on, not only just with Justin. I mean, obviously tell us what's going on with Justin, but also tell us what's going on over there at Circle of Debate as well, brother.
Oh man, well for me, like, now officially last month was the official 1 year return of me. I've been back since WrestleMania last year.
Amazing.
Like, I missed a whole year of that. And again, that's why I took the Redeemer thing. Like, as soon as I seen that, I was like, you know what? I got to go on a redemption tour. Like, I missed over a year of this, being able to come on with you guys, be over there with them, any other show that I wanted to come on with. And I missed it for so long. I just sit back in the chats and go, oh man, this sucks. Everybody else gets to do this. And I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I was there right now. This really stinks. And finally, like WrestleMania 40 hit, and I came back and I was like, yes, I'm finally gonna get to do this. And now it's been a full year and I'm back here and I'm back with you guys, and that's the best thing right now. Like, I'm so excited to always be here and just be on any show. That's why I always say, I call myself the Joe Hendry of podcasting, because literally you need a guest and I'll be there. Like, I will cover for anybody. Just call me and I will like be there for you guys.
We were just talking about that too. We were like, man, we see Justin almost every day. Like it's like we see that every day.
Oh yeah, man.
And it's not a problem at all.
Great, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem.
Because even on the heel turn, I'd be like, yeah. And going back to what Justin said, you know, like we always there's a reference, you know, like there's a reference going back. And honestly, your takes are fire. And we got to hear some heavy ones today, of course. But that's no shock.
I mean, hopefully everybody's ready for this one because there might be some maybe unhinged rants. You know, maybe I love a good rant. I'm always in for a good rant, but we'll see what happens when we get to talking topics here. So,
oh man, say no more. And Devin, look, you have the text, you have the rundown that you see before your eyes. Your pick, brother. Where do you want to go first?
Let's go ahead and get started with Ricochet and Javon Evans because when I seen what happened, when I seen that one tweet this morning, I legit went on with my day and thought nothing else of it. So when I seen what it became, I'm like, dang, you know, I leave you guys alone for 2 hours, and this is what happened.
Yeah,
talking about Ricochet and Javon.
It got heavy really, really quick, honestly. And can you guys see this at all?
Yes, I see it.
Seeing your internet, man.
Yeah,
$10 a month sounds like a steal.
Right? $10 a month.
Right, dang.
Right, $10 exactly. Where's the $1 a month?
That Wi-Fi better be good, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
If I get like freaking, you know, like a processing speed of like 2, then I'm gonna tell you that $10 ain't worth it.
It's right, exactly. It's like, what are you giving me right now? It's like, what are we doing here? But even to start this whole thing off, of course, we have some Happy Corbin on Twitter. Javon is the best young prospect in wrestling, and don't come in my replies talking about some random nobodies never heard of either. And Ricochet just comes out of nowhere. I squash him at 10:20 p.m. Brother, go to sleep. But of course, as it reads here, it took 14 hours to reply to Ricochet's post, but of course, it triggered a series of posts that, of course, was heavy. So Javon Evans says, my bad, I just got done training at the Performance Center under Shawn Michaels, something that you don't have or do, but I bet your brown egg head ass would squash me if Tony told you to. Much love, OG. So, which also leads Ricochet to come in and say, brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels. Oh, yeah, he did. I thought he misspelled Shawn Michaels. I was like, brother. But he said, brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels when you was like 12. Then went on to become multiple-time champion. Let me know when you win one, little boy. And yeah, if Tony asks me, I definitely beat your ass, cut. And Javon Evans finally, well, not finally, these are our last 2 tweets. He says, you learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead, not Devin, but a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade, am I right? And he also goes off to say, sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention. So you had to come for a successful ass youngin'. You're giving me the most views on my post, and I'm finally helping you get the most attention you've ever had in your career. All love. And of course, how many people does the PC hold? But you know, I feel like that's I feel like that's a tough one. I feel like that's a tough one, Ricochet. Yeah, because I feel like you already lost at that point. But
they like pushing him back. You already get out of here. Get him out of here.
Right. Look, Devin, I know you picked the topic, but I'm gonna go down here to Justin first. Justin, your thoughts on the Javon Evans Ricochet crash out? Who won, and what do you think about this?
Oh God, I just saw this today, and I go, why is this a thing? Why are these two beefing now all of a sudden? Like, first off, Javon's right. Like, I get it. Ricochet went from, you know, the big leagues, if you want to call it that, in WWE. And now look where he is. You know, AEW keeps getting these crowds that are just whittled down compared to what they used to be. You know, literally 2,000 people, maybe 3,500 people, something like that. But like, Ricochet's kind of right though. Like, you can't really pull the whole, oh, you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people when most of the time Javon's matches are in the Performance Center, which holds like maybe 200 to 300 people, something like that. Like, they both had some like decent points at each other, but like, to me, it just came off like tribalism. I'm looking at this and I'm going, look at these two just shooting off at the mouth, going like, hey, you work for them now. You don't work for us no more. And I'm like, you guys gotta stop. Like we talk about tribalism so much everywhere else. And it's like even the wrestlers join in on it so much. And it's just obnoxious for no reason. Like just stop with that nonsense tribalism because it doesn't add anything to anything. You just honestly, like one person will bring up a point and then somebody else will bring up a point and they'll be like, well, they're right, but they're also right. But then everyone's like, yeah, but you're supposed to be like backing that guy because he was right first. Like, I don't understand that nonsense. You just got to stop with the tribalism. Like the wrestlers got to stop with it. The whole thing of just, yes, Ricochet was there. We get it. He's not there no more. He wanted something different for himself. He went over to AEW because he knew like basically 90% of the roster over there. Of course, he was going to go over there to be with his friends. It is what it is. They just got to stop with this nonsense of just back and forth at each other and being like, well, we're better than you and you're not better than us. And it's basically what it comes down to. It's labeled as tribalism and it's just ridiculous.
Devin.
See, I could have put it no better than the boss did. But no, exactly. Like that's the thing. When you get to people online that are, not wrestlers, you're already doing that under the comments already. Like, well, what about when WWE do this? Oh, you don't care when WWE do the flippy stuff, yada yada yada. And it's like, dude, come on now. And then when you get like a Ricochet Javon Evans interaction like today, this could have easily been like one of like a little friendly little squabble online and just went on about their business. He could have just woke up and seen that, I squash him and been like, Ricochet, that's funny. We'll see one day or something. And just went on. You didn't have to. I mean, I get it. If you want to sit up there and feel like, what? How he gonna talk about me and he wrestling over there? And see, that's what I'm saying. They got to realize where they are. Like you on a public platform, yapping. It ain't like they gonna make no money from it. I can see if it was a chance of like Worlds Collide, you got WWE or NXT and AEW. Let's go ahead and start throwing some, sticks in the fire, getting people talking. And we could be thinking like, man, you would think a Ricochet and Javon Evans match could happen. We already know it ain't. So why? Why even just create drama for no reason? Javon could have just seen that tweet and said, haha, that's cute, and moved on.
But even going with that, well, before I get my comments, I do got to mention this man, because this man, who we just met last night, one of the coolest men that we have met. He kind of gives you, he's like a mix of kind of like, he's like somebody that you can see in the Tony D'Angelo family, but he's also like related to Scott Hall in some way. He's that smooth, like he silky smooth. Tim King slides in and says, nobody is better than you guys.
Huge, man. It was, I mean to cut you off. Sorry, it was so good meeting you yesterday, man.
Yeah.
Banger after banger after banger.
He was look, Tim King doesn't miss at all. Dude is absolutely hilarious,
bro.
He's a fun time as we've seen, and would definitely, we'd love to have him on the podcast as well.
Yes,
definitely would love to talk to Tim King really soon, man. But even going back to Javon Evans and Ricochet, the reason why I skimmed past that last message from Ricochet where he was like, "Hey, how much attendance? How big is the attendance in the PC?" I felt like at that point in time, you just gave us the reason why you shouldn't even be arguing with this man. Like that is the big reason why you shouldn't be arguing with him. Javon Evans is a man that's just starting off, the young OG. You're Ricochet. You're Ricochet. You had a full head of hair before this man was 12 years old. You have been wrestling for a really, really long time. You have the experience under your belt. As Devin said, you shouldn't be worried about somebody like a Javon Evans. I don't have a problem with Javon Evans tweeting back because, look, you're the young OG. You got to get some clout. You're on NXT. You're out there trying to do your thing. Ricochet, you crash out every month. I don't know why Javon Evans had to be your go-to, but especially because you guys have, quote-unquote, similar styles, just because you guys are high flyers, but I'll put quotations on that. But when you see the work that the Javon Evans is doing compared to what Ricochet is at now, and Ricochet is doing some great work, doing some great things. I feel like as we say, just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. It's all good. Ricochet doesn't always have to. You're giving us TK vibes at this point. Not Tim King. You're giving us Tony Khan vibes. Yeah, I was like, you're giving us Tony Khan vibes when Tony Khan would just randomly go on Twitter. Hey, watch AEW Collision. Hey, don't forget Vince McMahon. This. You know, like you got Twitter fingers. You know, just calm down. Not everybody needs a response, and if anything, you just helped out Javon Nevins more than you helped out yourself. So I felt like that was one of the biggest problems there. It hurt.
It's just a little. It's just, like I said, it's just ridiculous. Like it literally, like you just said, it's literally like Tony Khan used to do. Oh, hey, just do this and then do that, and oh, yeah, they're the Harvey Weinstein of professional wrestling. It's like y'all just do this to try to get attention. Just stop.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, and this is bogus because if I was Tony Khan, I would be hot. I would be fuming because WWE,
Right.
the way they diss him is so, to me, is like the most disrespectful way, because you will hear like a Nick Khan and a Paul Levesque in interviews, and they're like, "Hey, we have no problems with AEW. We think the kid is doing a great job, brother."
I like the kid.
Right.
I
The
think the
kid,
kid's
like,
cool.
what you talking about here? Like, oh, daddy's money. We bringing up daddy's money. We in the John Cena promo as well. Stealing, I make empires for billionaires. You just take money from their kids, and we're talking to Cody Rhodes. Tony Khan is always going to be the butt of a joke at that point in time. Neither side can't say that they don't have a problem with the other. It's all in competition, but they can't sit here and say that they're not a part of this tribalistic BS when clearly, they are at the forefront of it as well. They play along with it too because they profit off it as well.
Tony just always makes himself look like a joke no matter what he does. It just seems like no matter what, like whether it's publicly on television or it's on Twitter or anything else, that man literally, like, you can't tell me that man didn't look like a freaking joke when you see him out there geeking over Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, I see that.
I can't even say it that way.
Yeah,
However he said it.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like how Tony Khan said, yeah. I couldn't even do it. I'm like, I can't embarrass myself.
No, I seen when Tony Khan pulled out of that big ass map at the draft, the NFL draft, in a neck brace, as he's like, "Okay, this is what we're doing here." I'm like, brother, this is not how I go. You have a chalkboard right behind you, like, you have a whiteboard right behind you. You don't need a map of different, like, you can just, like, I don't know. Tony Khan, as you said, definitely embarrassing. So, we do got Tim King sliding through. That's a hell of a compliment. Appreciate it, fellas. It was great meeting you guys, and I'm just glad he finally stays off Twitter. Glad he didn't respond to this. Yeah,
right.
Definitely glad Tony Khan didn't put his hands on this. Devin,
you know what Tony's response probably would have been, right? As soon as he would have watched Ricochet and Javon Evans going back and forth, he'd been like, "Hey, if you guys want to see Ricochet, make sure you tune into AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays." Like,
right? Yeah, exactly. He was like, "Hey, even though Ricochet's bald, don't forget he's bald."
You can see his bald head on Thursday on Collision.
He's slapping it like he normally does.
Right? They need to make those cards. You ever seen those cards where, like, it'll be like the hands clapping, you just move the little stick. They need that with like Ricochet's head, like you just smack it. We need to see one of those cards. AEW.
It's gonna make something. It's just that monkey with the cymbals crashing, and they'll just put Ricochet's head in the middle and just.
And that's the thing that bothers me the most about, and that's like, I'm not saying what's wrong with AEW. This isn't a what's wrong with AEW rant, but their merchandise really disappoints me. Like, their merchandise really, really hurts. Like, the fact that we didn't get a Harley Quinn puppet, it says a whole, I think that I feel like you could have made a whole lot of money there with a Harley Quinn doll. I feel like a lot of wrestlers are missing out on money. And even when me and Devin went to the AEW event, when we went to the Royal Rumble, a WWE title was still $550. Still the same price that you would see online. AEW was $800 for an AEW World Heavyweight title. I was like, Devin, I had to stop him as we were walking to our seats in a pack. I was like, bro, look at this. Like,
I thought you said to stop you from buying. I was like,
no, we were just walking, and I just remember looking. I'm like, $800 for an AEW World $300 more. Like, I just thought that was insane. Their merchandise was a little all over the place.
Right.
It could improve.
I'd just be like, "Hi, do you want my lung? You want my kidney? Which one you want now? I want that title, but come on."
Right, exactly. What I gotta do? I gotta fight John Moxley himself. I gotta
want me to amputate my left foot. I'll give it to you. Don't worry, we're good.
You got crutches, but you still got the AEW title over your shoulder.
That's all that matters.
You're not going anywhere. Oh man, I love it. I love it. No, Devin, any final thoughts on the Javon Evans Ricochet crash out?
Yeah, like I said, I don't see why Javon didn't wake up this morning and see that and go, huh, that's funny, Ricochet. We'll see. And then move on with your life. You got other things going on. Like, you're fine. You in NXT, you just main evented what Stand and Deliver. Like, you fine. Let Ricochet crash out if he wants to. That's all he do.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta look at people and be like, hey, that's all he do. So I'm gonna continue to let him do that and go on with your day. You ain't gotta go back and forth, yada yada yada. Because you see all the stuff deleted now. So he ain't stand on it.
I
don't want to hear it. So he might as well could have just said, hey, that's cute, and moved on with his day.
You got a point. But now this brings us to an even bigger question. Should Bayley crash out on Johnathan Coachman? Because of course, we just heard from the coach himself on his podcast. And shout out to his co-host. I'm sorry, I didn't get a lot of their names. But as soon as he said the words, as soon as he uttered the words, Bayley is boring, there was a lady on there just instantly, I disagree with you. Like, no. It's just like, you're completely wrong here.
It was like, all right, just close your mouth. Man,
right, exactly. Just stop it. I thought she was going to put hands on him. I thought she was going to hurt the man.
I'm sorry.
The Rock used to cook that. Hey, but look at where Michael Cole was at. Look at Michael Cole was getting cooked every day. Not 30 years in, 30 years strong, getting choked out by Gunther.
There's levels, man.
I was like, you doing good.
Levels to the cooking.
Levels to exactly. But even going into Behind the Turnbuckle, the podcast, of course, on the recent edition, Coach rejected the hosts discussing Bayley's impending return to WWE TV. He says, "Oh my God, you can't be serious." He says, "Why keep bringing up Bayley? That's my question. Bayley is done. She's washed up. She's boring. She's nothing. She's nothing anymore. What does she bring to the table? If you drop Bayley off the roster today, what would we lose?" He continues to say, "When I was in WWE for 13 years, there would be certain people, and she'd be one of them, that you would walk around backstage going, how in the world is she winning the Royal Rumble? Or how in the world is he doing that? I just don't think she's ever sold a ticket, like ever sold a ticket for any rivalry that she's ever done." Bold statement. Justin, what do you think of Coachman's comments?
Coach. Well, I'm going to first start by saying this because it's going to be a little difficult to talk about this, especially because I know somebody in our little podcast community who works with Coach on his podcast.
Oh.
So this is going to be a little interesting to have to talk about this right now. But I don't get the Bayley hate. I don't understand the Bayley hate. Like, it seems like after NXT, when she was still at her like super high popularity, it's like Bayley just suddenly just gets all this disrespect on the main roster. And I don't get what it is, honestly. Like, you see the crowd just kind of gets kind of dull for her during her matches. You see all these people are like, oh, like literally like Coach Johnathan Coachman saying that Bayley's boring. Like, what is the issue with Bayley for everybody? I don't understand that whatsoever. Like, I get it. She's kind of right now where she's at. She doesn't really have a character. She's just Bayley. Like, originally she was the hugger. Then she turned heel and just said, I'm not the hugger no more. I'm not going to be like friendly to anybody. No, nothing. I get it. But now she's just like there. I understand like kind of why he would kind of say that, especially because what she is now. But it's not like Bayley hasn't added anything especially to women's wrestling. She's been like a pivotal part of this entire like women's revolution still to this day. Like, like I said, I just don't understand the hatred for her anymore. It just seems such a quick flip of the switch, how it was just, you love her so much. Everybody's excited. Can't wait to see her on the main roster. She gets to the main roster, and it's just like, as soon as she hits the main roster, it's just like everything just, you watch the downfall and just everybody's just not on board with her no more. And I don't know what that is. Like, again, maybe she does need a character change. Maybe she needs to just get a character, something right now, because she can't just be on screen being this character where it's almost comes off she's still trying to find out if she's babyface or heel, because even with her character, she's supposed to be liked as a babyface, but she still kind of comes off heelish a little bit. So it's almost like she doesn't know what she is either. So it's a weird mix of, I kind of understand where he's coming here, but it's just a little over excessive, because you don't see anybody like that genuinely dislikes Bayley. I've seen more likes for Bayley than dislikes. And the people that dislike, I kind of get where they're coming from, but I don't get why you have to just keep constantly throwing it out there and making it this big thing where it's like, well, Bayley, well, forget her. She's nothing to this. Like right now, just drop that. It's Bayley. She's always been a big part of the women's roster and a big part of the women's revolution. And that's just basically what she's always going to be. And it's like, you can't just realize that situation right there, then you got to just stop. It's just another situation of just too much. It's too much for no reason.
You know, I'm gonna try to put it like, yeah, I feel the same way of like the angle I'm gonna look at it, like, why is it like all this hate for Bayley? Like, I was like feeling a type of way when they pushed her down. I think it was the Bellas at like WrestleMania, that first WrestleMania, like after COVID, like when they first, I think, what was that, 37? No, I'm wrong. That wasn't 37. That was before COVID. It was 35, I think.
Yeah,
it was
one
35.
You're right.
Yeah, it was one when they were hosting or something, and they like pushed Bayley down, and I'm like, man, y'all don't even, you know.
Oh, I do remember that.
I can't. It was when I seen it. I was like, no, I see Bayley here day in, day out. Y'all left, then went, and y'all in the Hall of Fame. You know, that's cool.
Oh,
but
man.
no, you're not finna disrespect Bayley like this on the biggest stage, kicking her down the ramp like that. I don't know. It just always rubbed me the wrong way. So now when I hear, you know, comments like this, like, oh, she's wise, you know, what's the use for it? I just don't see what's the point of saying that. Like, she just won the Royal Rumble last year. She just won the Women's Championship last year at WrestleMania. It wasn't, you know, in nobody's basement. It was at WrestleMania. And not only that, let's go back another year before that. Who was the main point of Damage Control? It was Bayley. It was Bayley that brought Io and Dakota Kai. Because look at it, I'm just saying, there's no way Dakota Kai and Io would have been. Oh, I don't see how that would have worked without Bayley. So to say that she's, you know, not important, yes, she is.
And even to go, this is how I know Johnathan Coachman doesn't know ball. Like, it just instantly off rip, because when you hear from the likes, hell, we talked about Brittany Brooks before. She's a wrestler on the independent scene, and we've seen Izzy. We hear a lot of women wrestlers go back to when they're asked the question, what match inspired them, what's their favorite match, they go back to that Sasha Banks and Bayley NXT Iron Woman match. You know, they go back to a Bayley match, talking about Bayley doesn't draw, Bayley has never sold a ticket. Like that, to me, that's crazy in itself. I think I could go back to what my sister was saying a couple weeks ago. My sister rewatches. She's rewatching the wrestling she missed, and so she's telling me she just went past the kendo stick on the pole match with Bayley and Alexa Bliss. Pretty much the downfall of Bayley. You know, like that was a downfall of hugging Bayley at that point, because she's getting booed while she has an arm in a cast, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not talking to you guys, the one that's booing me. You know, I'm talking to my actual fans." Like, yeah, like she even got disrespected then, but yeah, she came back. Her and Drew McIntyre carried WWE through COVID. I'd say when Bayley and Sasha Banks, you know, they were doing their thing. Drew McIntyre was, of course, murdering everybody. Like, we had a fun time. At least I did. Had a fun time seeing Bayley on my TV screen during that time. I had a fun time watching Bayley make up Damage Control, as Devin mentioned, bringing back Dakota Kai and Io Sky as well. Like, you know, Bayley has done, as Justin said, has done so much for the women's division. Hell, everybody got called up, and we were still hearing rumblings about Bayley. Bayley was just a rumor, you know, because Bayley didn't get. She was the last one to get called up, right?
Yes.
We had
they
to
were
wait
all
on
up
Bayley.
there right now.
Yeah, like we had to wait for Bayley to get choked out by Asuka, you know. So, but we had to wait for that to happen for her to get called up to the main roster and to see the great work that she's done. Johnathan Coachman, for him to say that. You go around and look at guys and say, how did you do this? How did you do that? How many people were looking at him saying the exact same thing? You know, that's my question. You know, like, because I think Michael Cole could look at Johnathan Coachman and say the exact same thing. I think JR could look at Johnathan Coachman and say the exact same thing. Why the hell are you here? Hell, I'm pretty sure Max Striker probably has some side eyes at Johnathan. You know, like, it's just, I love Johnathan Coachman. I love the coach. Like, I had a whole lot of fun watching him as I grew up. But I just think he's just dead wrong on this. And I think Bayley has inspired too many people for him to be talking this crazy. I do think there is some Bayley fatigue there. I do agree with you there, Justin.
It's the thing is that she just needs a character. It just feels like right now at the state of where she's at, she has no character. And I think that's the problem. Because it's like, again, what she is now is it comes off kind of tweener. She comes off kind of like a baby face, but she also comes off as a heel. And yes, there's those heels that you can like. And there's also those baby faces, of course, that you're supposed to like. But it's like you kind of sit there and you look at it and you go, what is this character? What is she? What is she actually? She comes out here, but she still does kind of like the ding dong stuff once in a while. But she always like occasionally likes to poke fun at Michael Cole and call him an idiot. Like she also kind of acts heelish occasionally. Like, but she's supposed to be a baby face. Again, it's not a baby face that like you want to root for, really. You kind of want to boo her because she's a heel. But she's not like the cool heel where you want to cheer the heel kind of situation. So she's kind of like in a mixed situation where she needs to kind of decide what character she wants to be right now. And that I think would help her a lot.
No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, my question here, and I'll start off with Devin here. I really, and I mentioned my problem with Becky Lynch, have just a huge problem. How come a lot of people aren't feeling this way about Becky Lynch? I feel like Becky Lynch came in and did the exact same thing that she's been doing since she left. And honestly, I just feel like it's just been so dry. While Bayley, on the other hand, at least we're seeing, I know Becky Lynch was going through contract negotiations, like, and being a mother. Like, I'm not going to discourage her for that. Like, that's not nothing to feel negatively about. But for Bayley, somebody that we've seen a decent amount, and it's not that she's putting in bad work. You know, she's not, at a John Moxley level. She's not, we don't want to see her go away or anything of that nature. But how come we are seeing that so far, or is it just me with my Becky Lynch hate?
I mean, with the whole Becky Lynch thing, it's just the way how she popped, like, kind of came back into the picture for me. Like, if it was after WrestleMania, I probably wouldn't be feeling so, looking at it so egregiously. But and then that's like when I think of like that could have been the spot Bayley was in. Then I hear all this stuff going towards Bayley. I'm like, dang, she already just got yanked out of WrestleMania, leading up to it, where something that could have made sense. Hey, now saying, oh, she born, she watched it. I'm like, well, shoot. I mean, how you gonna show me something if they took you away? I'm talking about for Bayley wise. So I mean, granted, why ain't nobody looking at Becky like, hey, you can just come out of nowhere, with this whole heel attitude? It's like, well, why would you be, she just came up with, how can I put it? Everything with Bayley and Lyra, I felt like could have worked because it was like you already was having that match. They were going to team up. You see how she didn't want, it was already still sparking right there. And then you come and just insert Becky into it. And I'm like, well, where's the hate for that? But yeah, we over here hating on Bayley, and Bayley ain't even doing nothing, man. Literally, I ain't trying to be mean.
And I'm just to throw this out there, I'm not trying to navigate hate either. I'm not trying to navigate however.
Well, I mean,
I just want to throw that out there. I'm just
saying. All I'm looking at, I look at somebody that ain't did nothing getting hate on, and somebody that, I can see you having a reason to hate on it, but ain't seeing nothing going up. That's just all I'm saying.
I mean, I'll tell you this flat out. The current Becky Lynch stuff, I get where it's supposed to go right now, because this is basically setting up like to put over Lyra Valkyria, which is good. I'm happy that that's the case. But I'm still not a fan of how we got to this point. Like the fact that you rushed the Becky stuff, where you basically just 24 hours after them winning the tag team titles, let's take the tag team titles off of them and then have Becky turn heel. Like, tell me that ain't fast. Like, you didn't just hit the fast forward button without telling me you hit the fast forward button. Like, that was so unnecessarily called for. And I get what the whole, again, I don't understand why people, I've seen people that don't like Becky that much either. Like if you've seen the Becky Hogan freaking stuff,
That's
like
crazy.
that goes around on social media. Yeah, that right there tells you that there's people that don't really like Becky because of the fact that it just feels like, what does she do every time when she comes away? She almost kind of gets the Charlotte treatment a little bit. Like that's the reason why I don't like Charlotte too much, because like I will always be off the Charlotte like follow train because of the fact that what does she do when she's here? She's here, and what's the first thing that she does as soon as she comes back? Like she disappears for like 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half, whatever the hell time she wants to be gone for. What happens? As soon as she comes back, she gets inserted in a championship match. And then she'll either win the thing or she'll just hover around in that same exact scene. And then eventually there's going to strap the title on there so they can increase her numbers and get it up there again. Because, of course, what's the best way to beat a Flair? Have a Flair do it. Well, now you can't have that happen because Cena did it. So, again, you're probably going to try to do it where Charlotte's going to try to take the record back and be like, well, it's back in the Flair lineage again, like, which will be nonsense in its own right. But it just, it's kind of like Becky's doing a lot. What does she do? She literally just was gone for months on end and then came back. And what happened? They inserted her in a championship match. Now I get it. The tag team titles are not what they are, what they should be. They don't have the meaning. They're basically, as far as I'm concerned, dead. They're just there. Like they could honestly get rid of them tag team titles tomorrow. And I don't think anybody's going to bat an eyelash and be like, how dare you get rid of those tag team titles? Maybe if they'd have put more love in that damn division, maybe that would have worked better. But it's right now what Becky's doing is rushed. And I get where it's going, but I wish they'd have taken their time with it. It just felt so awkward right after WrestleMania to have that happen and just be like, okay, cool. So because like if you'd have had that story where Becky had, you could have literally done that at WrestleMania. People were saying you could have done that at WrestleMania. It would have made sense. Flat out, if you had Becky come out, like literally beat her up after like they lost the match at WrestleMania. Lyra gets beaten up by Becky, and then Becky comes out the next night and says, you called me up because you wanted a tag team partner. You needed a tag team partner. You pulled me away from my child to come here and team up with you just so we could lose. Then I could understand that story would have worked. But just like the way they did it and led up to that was just awful. And again, the whole thing with Bayley, that whole situation of just let's get her in this situation to team with Lyra, go for the tag team titles. But as soon as we get to WrestleMania, guess what we're going to do? Bayley, you're out. We got to find somebody different. Like that is the most disrespectful and nonsensical thing I've ever seen in my life to Bayley. And again, that's another situation. The company's disrespecting Bayley. What is the issue with Bayley, everybody? Somebody explain it to me.
I don't get it at all. It makes absolutely zero sense. It kind of it rubs you the wrong way when you, like I said, when you see the hard work that she's put in throughout the year that we've seen her in. And even with that, I mean, I would have just hit an Adam Pearce. It is official. Bayley has a mystery one-on-one opponent for the IC title opportunity. Have Becky Lynch come out there at WrestleMania, still gonna get the same pop that you got, instead of having Becky come through and do what she did. We just now, granted, I will give some credit where credit is due. We saw her beat Bianca Belair in like 30 seconds for the title when she came back again, and that was pretty much a back to the line storyline. We saw Bianca Belair pretty much have to go through the whole women's roster till WrestleMania to see her get that title back. And Becky Lynch, I mean, to be fair, had a really awesome run
fan of
with
it
the title
first because I thought it was nonsense.
She had to
how they
cheat to
buried
beat
Bianca.
Liv Morgan.
Right? Like it was one of them stories that I was not a fan of at first because I seen that and I go, man, they're just burying Bianca. They had her losing like 6 seconds. Yeah. But no, what it came out to be, now in the long run, we can look at that and go, okay, that worked. And if this is going to be one of them situations where what you're going to do with Lyra Valkyria, she doesn't get a lot of really good reactions from the crowd. She's just kind of like iffy when they see her come out. But what she's been interacting with Becky the past couple weeks, she's been starting to get some better reactions more and more. So if this is going to be kind of like that rehash story where it's going to be like Lyra's going to now chase, which again, if it comes down to Backlash, prediction quick for me right here, I think Lyra's going to lose that championship at Backlash. Becky's going to win that title, and then Lyra's going to chase, and it's going to get Lyra over more, which is good. I like that. I want to see them get Lyra over because I want to see Lyra get those reactions where the crowd goes, okay, we want Lyra to beat Becky. We need to see Lyra beat Becky because that's Becky is secretly doing something that a lot of people don't think she's doing, and that's enhancing the talent. She's helping the younger talent, which I appreciate Becky Lynch for doing that stuff.
Oh man, that's a great point. My bad, Devin. I didn't know if I mean.
Oh no, I agree. No, that's the thing. Like I said, I don't want it to seem like I'm like, why Becky Lynch in this position? It's just how they put her in that position. If that was what you was gonna do, if you were gonna have the whole, I don't know, I'm gonna try to separate the Bayley, taking her out. Yeah, I would have just tried to do the turn at WrestleMania, and then you go on, or not they lose, because it didn't make sense for Liv and them to lose at WrestleMania anyway. Just for them to win back the titles the next night, when you could have just had them lose at WrestleMania, and that was perfect. Like, you made me get off my couch to lose, man. Why y'all don't, and you would have went from there, and it just would have been you could have got another, maybe not a big time Bex type of heel run, but a different type of Becky Lynch heel run from here. Like, you made me, I felt like I ain't had nothing else to do here. I did everything. You made me come back to lose on the biggest stage. Man, if you don't get up, you know what? Somewhere that sounds so perfect to me. And I'm just that's why I keep saying it, because I'm like, why ain't nobody else thinking that?
He said, I actually wrote it down right here. He's like, I wrote it down. I'm actually reading my notes.
That's another, like, that Drake and looking at the computer, like, duh.
Oh yeah, Drake and Lil Yachty, like, bro.
Yeah, just have her get mad because they lost.
Yeah, and I mean, honest, I do think I gotta agree with Justin with, Lyra Valkyria. I talked about this last week. Lyra Valkyria getting no reaction bothers the hell out of me. Like, granted, her last quote that she had when she was, not the last quote, but something she said with Becky Lynch when she announced all of Becky Lynch's accolades, and then she was like, well, you were the first IC champion. Oh, nope, that was me. It's like, look, Raw Women's Champion, main event in Mania, IC title. I'm sorry about that. But outside of that, Lyra Valkyria, I believe, is going to be a WWE Women's World Champion. Like, I think we can all agree that it is going to be set in stone. She has the full package with it, just strength and athleticism alone. So she doesn't need the IC title, but we definitely got to get her. Well, I won't necessarily say respected, but we got to get her interested, to the WWE universe. So if Becky Lynch is going to be that person, I guess I'm ready for this ride. I guess I'll be ready for this ride.
Strapping in, like, I guess.
Right.
You ain't even screaming, you just crying.
All right, just sitting there crying. You ever seen that video on them Facebook watch videos, that roller coaster?
Yeah.
But
you
like,
there.
Come all around. Like, yeah, see, I can't do it, man.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But I can't with them, because every time I see them kind of videos, all I see is people screaming where they're like, "Oh my god, what is that?
What are their composure, man?
It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. But one thing that is definitely possible is a lot of people getting pissed off at Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer, as we talked about I believe it was Tuesday, as we talked about the WWE released talent. Of course, with the likes of, just naming off a couple, the Braun Strowmans, the Dakota Kais, Shayna Baszler, Riley Osborne, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade. We could go off on a whole list. But a lot of people were released, and Dave Meltzer came out with a tweet saying that a lot of superstars were released due to their work ethic. He felt like a lot of people weren't working hard enough, and that was one of the reasons why they were released. And Gigi Dolan came out and said, well, I was working for 2 companies, and I had to work out on my own time, outside of working in the ring. So it's not like I'm not working hard. And of course, Elena Black, also known as Cora Jade, came out and said, and also I had to work out at my very own gym, for strength and conditioning, because she felt like she wasn't getting it at the other gym that she was at. And now we're seeing a whole lot of, and then Riley Osborne coming out with his statement as well. His wife was released, and he still showed up to Evolve. I believe he said the very next day after getting told that he could have the day off. And he came in and they praised him, for his work ethic, and they praised him for him and then his priorities as well. Do you think after this, because we're not going to say that Dave is wrong on his reports. Like, Dave is a legend. Like, that's something that we can't deny. He's a legendary reporter. But is Dave the problem with with WWE, not WWE. Let me rephrase that, with wrestling reporting, and it's because it's not just WWE. You can compare and contrast how he talks about both companies, all companies, and you can compare and contrast how the news comes out, whether it's true or false, from AEW, from WWE, from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is Dynamite Dave's news reporting the problem, Justin?
Oh, I've never been a fan of Meltzer. I just can't stand listening to him. Like, the reports he puts out are so bogus most of the time. Like, the fact that he just, I swear, he just spurts off at the mouth sometimes because he just wants to be right. It's almost like I was the longest and best journalist out there, and every time I put a report out, it was right. And he just starts putting stuff out there, and it's not even close to right anymore. It's never been right. And Dave Meltzer has been wrong more recently than he's ever been right. It's insanity to listen. This is the thing. There was a lot of people that when I saw them get released for that, I look at them and I go, okay, I can kind of see where people are coming from, how it felt like they weren't really progressing a lot of people. There was some people that were just kind of at the same levels to where they were when they first got in there, and then they were just kind of hovering around that same area. Like for me, Cora Jade, she still needed a lot of work. I kept looking at her, and she was in there for a long time. She was in NXT for 5-6 years, maybe even longer than that. And it just again, she's another one who had her momentum just constantly stopped due to injuries. It seemed like every time she was getting injured. Another one who just had me worried was, will she stay healthy? And a lot of the time she was involved with some really stupid stuff. I'm sorry, that Cora Jade turn on Roxanne Perez to me will always be dumb. I will never back that and justify that turn because I hated that turn. The fact that you literally had them win the NXT tag team titles and then just say, okay, the next week we're turning Cora on Roxanne, made zero sense. And then literally what just happened recently at Stand and Deliver, where they were on the kickoff show teaming up and everything was going perfectly fine. Then Roxanne just walks away. And I was like, come on, really? We're doing another stupid, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I remember the bad times I had with her where she turned on me and would hit me with a skateboard. And it didn't work. It hasn't. There was, again, she's one of them people that just felt like she was not progressing. I understand that. But it doesn't mean that she wasn't trying. It felt like when we'd see it, she'd go out there and she'd do what she'd do. And then we would always be like, okay, cool. Cora Jade, fine. But other people, Riley Osborne, for instance, he was in Chase U for so long. And then when you broke up Chase U, you had nothing for him. So you can't really point the finger at him and say it was his work ethic that was, slacking. It wasn't. Y'all didn't have anything for him. You did nothing. You broke up Chase U and then immediately threw him down in Evolve. And I don't know how, and I wouldn't blame him for being freaking unhappy with that, because you literally took him from developmental and put him in developmental's developmental. What is that? What? That was ridiculous. It's a downgrade. Same thing goes for Gallus. Those guys should have been on the main roster for years ago, but here they are floating around in NXT and then doing nothing. And then you downgrade them to freaking Evolve. I understand where the unhappiness would come from the wrestlers, because you're either not doing anything with them or you are going to do something with them, but you're saying, okay, but it's not going to be here on NXT. It's not even going to be here on NXT. It's going to be down in Evolve. That's still fresh. That's for the really young talent, the brand new talent. Other than that, they brought in Timothy Thatcher for there, which is fine. You got a veteran in Thatcher there to work with the young guys. And I like that. That's awesome. But a lot of those guys feel like they're, still floating around in obscurity. They're not doing nothing. They've been in NXT for so long. Why are they not on the main roster? Or why are you not doing anything with these people? So I would understand they're happy, their unhappiness, but Meltzer just, again, is the kind of guy to me I never listen to. I never agree with anything Meltzer comes off with, because it all just feels like he's just trying to get people to talk about what he says. And that's a problem, because how many times have we gone out here on any social media, whether even on our shows or on social media, and just go, you know, Dave Meltzer kind of comes off like he's on Tony Khan's payroll, because what does he do? He gasses up anything AEW, even when it's bad. But when WWE does something, or any other company does something, it's, well, this is the reason why, and this is the reason why, and you're gonna be really mad at them because the fact that they, you know, the work ethic was not there. Like, Meltzer just comes off like a phony anymore, and that's not good. Like, I tried my damnedest to avoid any reporters and journalists and anything else, and I go by what I see on television. Now, from the people that I seen, I get it. There was a lot of them that were not going to be like upper echelon level, but again, it doesn't mean that they weren't trying. It does not mean they were not trying, and Meltzer just spurting that off just comes off as insulting, and that's ridiculous.
I couldn't have put it almost no better. I always see, man, that's why we call him the boss. But yeah, Dynamite Dave, man, that's Dynamite. Yeah, I, you know, to see all those releases and how can I trying to get a comma in my words, to see all those releases in NXT, and for Dynamite Dave to say, you know, it's due to like their lack of work ethic, and it's like, imagine like that, you know, you just got released, like, dang, you know, okay, and then you wake up and see somebody, hey, they was lazy. Like, man, how you gonna tell me I was lazy? You know, it's like, I mean, like, exactly, like if they have you stuck, you know, like with Chase U, and then they break it up and had nothing for you, how you gonna call me lazy? I can't show you something that they don't allow me to show you. You know, and I can see it. I'm really about to call him Uncle Dave. See, man. But no, I agree, Justin. It's just like I don't know. I see Dave Meltzer say something, I just kind of just keep scrolling. I don't even know how I seen it because I don't follow him. I know. So no, I don't get why he would even want to say stuff, because I don't know, he say things and I'm just like, how you know that? How? Because then he'll say, oh, well, you know, this could be true, but then I really don't know. But it's really a high possibility, but at the same time, it could not happen. And it's like, well, just shut up. You don't have nothing clear cut. I don't want to hear it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I let Dynamite Dave give me headaches. I'm not gonna let him do it again. So look, a lot of the people, like Cora Jade, she had momentum, and then she would get, you know, stopped by an injury, and you can see where there's potential for it too. Because she was in the Rumble this year, right? I believe she was.
I don't think she was.
I thought she was in the Rumble, because I was like, you know what? I could kind of see her. You know what? At some point, I'm gonna try to look it up. I thought she was, but I was like, I can see it working, but maybe another few, you know, just something else in NXT. Then I can see you popping up there. But now, you know, we don't, you know, whatever the future holds now. But like I said, for him to just come out and say about their work ethic, no, you know what? Yeah, I wish people could just see what he said and just keep scrolling, because I don't be paying attention to what he be saying for stuff like this. And I'm not even gonna talk about how he talk about the other people. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
His prime example for me, like, was a recent report. I think it was like during the build to WrestleMania, where he talked about The Rock, and he was like, "Oh, The Rock's gonna be there, but he doesn't know if he's gonna be there, but he might be there." And I'm like, "So Meltzer?" I'm like, "Did Meltzer just come up with a report that basically said, I don't know what The Rock's doing? Like, what the hell?" You just tried to vouch for the fact that you knew what he was doing, but you didn't know what he was doing. So you just said, I don't know. That's it.
Right. When in all actuality, you could have just either not said anything or just said, you know what? I don't know what The Rock's doing. You know, like that. It'd been 2 seconds. Just 2
Wait
seconds.
Till you get something clear cut. Like, you wasting my time telling me you don't know. Because I'm not. I still don't know.
But even to go back to your tribalism point, Devin, like that's one thing that there are certain people that I just can't. Like, if Dave Meltzer's going to talk about WWE, I'm not going to listen, because I already know there's something going on there. If Ariel Helwani is talking AEW, I'm not going to listen. If Rosenberg is going to talk AEW, I'm not going to listen to it. You know, I think everybody has a hint of tribalism in their speech. And even though there's one voice in Dave Meltzer, it was a little bit stronger, at least in the wrestling world. You know, I think that's one of the biggest problems there. And I think to go on to Justin's point, everybody is in their own circumstance. Yeah, everybody had that in their own circumstance as to why they were released. You know, Dakota Kai, I love her to death, but she's injury prone. You know, she's been injured a whole lot. Triple H, I think, has paid her a whole lot more to not necessarily stay at home, but to recover than to be in the ring. And I'm not saying that as that's just truth. That's reality. You can say the same thing about Braun Strowman and everything that's going on underneath, his knees, underneath the kneecaps. And that, as unfortunate as he is, I think the man's I think he's a businessman. I think he doesn't need wrestling. So he's fine. But Shayna Baszler has had her fair share of injuries. But then on the flip side, you got to look at the athletic side of it. To put it in Chicago Bulls terms, there's a guy named Patrick Williams. He's been in the league for 5 years. We wanted him to be great, but he's only averaging 10 points per game. You want more money, but you're not improving. You want more TV time. You want to do more for the brand, but we're not seeing any improvement. Now, what we see on the TV screen, we're entertained. What Triple H and them are seeing on the screen, what they're critiquing is something totally different. So we might love to see what Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade, we might love to see what they do in the ring. But, Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels, man, you see the way she hit those ropes? It's like, they see something totally different in the ring than what we are. And I think everybody that got released, of course, I think they're going to be fine off. I think everybody that got released from WWE are going to be well off, getting jobs elsewhere in the wrestling industry or not. But they got to look at this as a business. Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan, I can see at this point in time, if you go up to the main roster, what are you going to do? Who are you going to keep up with on the main roster at this point in time? Dakota Kai did her thing. Dakota Kai did a great job with the run that she had, her chase for the IC title. And yet, but as we mentioned before, the injuries are just too much. So I feel like everybody has a circumstance there. I don't think it was this person was lazy and this person didn't work hard. Maybe, as you said, maybe there was, something towards that for some guys. We're seeing Nikita Lyons. We're in it going to, she already did her thing and Evolve. Mm-hmm. Nikita already did her thing. she already did her thing and Evolve. So she got she did her thing. But we're seeing talent like that. Talent that for one reason or another, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they see something. There's something that they want to improve on. And Nikita, I mean, she was. This isn't funny, but I'm gonna still repeat it. She was wearing those Austin knee braces, two of them. She was on both legs. That's terrifying in itself. The Austin, the 316 knee braces. It just they could hold anything together. So it's like when you're seeing Nikita Lyons and seeing the rope that she's getting from WWE, when you're seeing the likes, seeing a decent amount of people getting a little bit more rope. Hell, JC Jane has been in NXT for I don't know how long. And she still can. Well, number one, she's still beefing with her faction. But she still has some rope to do her thing because WWE and Triple H see something in her. So I'm not saying that these guys won't be able to come back. I'm not saying they're working. I'm just saying at this point in time, what Justin and what Devin has said previously, Dave Meltzer, at this point in time, he's saying anything. He wants that raid. He's posted on Twitter and saying that the only reason why he's commenting back and forth with people on Twitter is for clicks. He's trying, and a little bit of that is rage bait. I can see that a little bit on his podcast. I can see a little bit of that on his reports. Some rage bait in there. It definitely sucks. And
it's like the people that agree with his Meltzer awards all the time, or the friggin', I can't. How do you vouch for those things? Like, that is literally Meltzer's decisions, where Meltzer is making up these made up awards and everything. And I swear it's just to get people riled up. That's all that man ever does when he has those awards. Because people are like, oh, well, here's Triple H winning Best Booker of the Year. And people are like, well, what about Tony Khan? Why is Tony Khan not the best booker? We did stuff way better than Triple H did this year. And it's like, that's all he does. It's just to stir up some tribalism, stir up some nonsense. And that's all he does. And Meltzer needs to cut it because, again, I don't care about any of the journalists when I hear that kind of stuff. I want to see what I see on television, and I will critique it the way I critique it. And that's how it goes. Like, I don't need Meltzer to tell me this stuff. And if I could figure out these other kind of things, like how Rock didn't show up and everything else, I could tell you a reason why I think he doesn't show up. I don't need Meltzer to tell me. I don't need to listen to anything Meltzer says.
He didn't even tell us that Travis Scott was going to be there.
Right?
See? But he'll tell you something that you already don't know. I mean, he'll tell you something you already know, which is nothing.
I'll probably tell you like 3 weeks ago, I got a letter that said Travis Scott was going to show up at WrestleMania. Then I got a random text message from like his manager that said he wasn't going to be able to show up. So I had to tell everybody that he wasn't going to show up. And then he showed up, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm wrong. What did I do?
What did I do? How could I?
What have I done?"
I can't believe this.
My favorite Meltzer moment though is, of course, CM Punk going off in AEW, and he's just like, you know, I think after
what I ever do
after the Hangman Page, after his Hangman Page comment, and he's like, "What did I do, Dave?" And Dave's like, "What you tell me?"
I'm sorry. I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. You tell me. It's just like,
so you know it all. Come on.
Right? Exactly. You know everything.
On Twitter though, CM Punk.
Right. Clearly,
you tell me.
Clearly in Tony Khan's pocket, you got that, that nice paycheck coming to you soon, where you're just like, "Hey, Tony, you want me to gas up AEW for a little bit? I'll just send me the check, all right?"
Right, exactly. And that's why I honestly, and I'll give a shout out here. I'll show some love. Like, that's why I do kind of like the reporting of Sean Ross Sapp, even though he have his Tony Khan moments. He got his Tony Khan moments for sure. He crazy, but him and Denise Salcedo, I think they do some great work, reporting on wrestling news and being at the scene, asking questions and reporting as well. I do think they do a great job, way better than at least the new age Dave Meltzer at this point, because they're not trying to stir up controversies. Sean Ross Sapp, he just wants to get his recognition. Hey, tag me.
I'll give it to Fightful. They basically are the kind of place that I go to when I hear when releases start coming around, because then I start paying attention to Fightful, and I'm like, at least Sean Ross Sapp will be on fucking point when it's like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm gonna know who's next, who's here. The only issue I still have with Sapp is the fact that he likes to stick a lot of stuff behind a paywall, but so does Meltzer. Meltzer does the same kind of nonsense. So I kind of look at that and go, so Meltzer's locking nonsense behind a paywall. Sapp's locking just like some actual truths behind a paywall, but nobody really wants to pay to hear this stuff. You basically put a podcast out, like when releases happen, you go live on X all the time, and you're like, start talking about the releases and everything else. And I go, bro, just stick with that. You don't have to be like, all right, man, I want to sit here on this show and I'm going to tell you flat out about all these releases and why this all happened and why these people got let go. But then I'm going to stick it behind a paywall and be like, listen, guys, I need that quick check myself. So,
there's literally nothing stopping us. Every time he posts like information coming out soon, brother, there's somebody on Twitter that read that and has already tweeted what you just said. Either that, or you finna tell us in an hour anyway. So I just gotta wait. I can wait for free.
Well, it is just wait.
Like, man, I mean, they
just basically tell everybody, you want to learn the info now. You better get that paywall. You better get in there right now.
Right, exactly. Let me get in your pockets.
First to know.
I was the first to know.
I was the first, exactly, man, and that's what gets crazy.
At the end, we all gonna know.
But look, man, this has been a whole lot of fun. I've been having the time of my life with you guys, but that's not nothing new. I feel like we've always had some fun time when we're together, and now, of course, it's time to bring out this quiz we have here.
Oh boy,
that's my final answer, and I'm saying it. See,
man,
it's like, is that me?
Yeah, well, look, I was like, let me skim right past that real fast because I want to get into this book. We're an hour in. We gotta have some fun, man. Let me see this book here. Oh wow, Kevin Kelly. I wasn't expecting to see that name as soon as I opened up the book. But we have the WWE Encyclopedia of Sports Entertainment, the new edition. But I bought it in 2020, so it's getting elderly. I'm going to get a little update here.
Getting elderly.
It's getting elderly. So usually how this goes, I'm either gonna read off a sentence.
Pages falling out.
Yeah, Paige is falling out. See, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. It made it from Arizona, so we all good. So I either have sentences or we have lists of things. This is an NXT list of the NXT championships here and the matches of where they of what took place as well, who won, and things of that nature. So let me see. I think we could do a good 7. Let's do a quick 5 to 7 questions here, and I think we can have some fun as well. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna just read off the sentence, and if you have it, I'll just say yes or no and continue reading. Let's get it. Perhaps no diva in history has made an immediate impact as this lady. After nearly 1 year of representing NXT as their first ever women's champion, the determined diva debuted on Raw in April 2014, and the results was historic.
What year was that again?
2014. I'll keep going. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Keep going. You said the first ever NXT women's champion.
Yep. After 1 year of representing NXT as their first ever women's champion. Yep. So with the victory after in her debut, she became the youngest ever to hold the Divas Championship.
Paige. Yep.
Paige is correct.
I was gonna say that for I was like, wait a minute. I don't know. I was then I started.
AJ Lee.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I had to hold off on the AJ Lee. I didn't want to say AJ Lee. I felt like I would have done us dirty here. You know what? I'm gonna just. I see the list right here. This is the Royal Rumble. It gives us every winner from 1988 to 2020. Who was the winner of the 1993 Royal Rumble?
Hogan.
Final answer? Well, I mean. Yeah, because like it says Yokozuna, but of course we do have the story on side of the whole story behind it as well.
Oh my god.
I was like, I totally
feel bad I threw this name out there. Now I'm like, why would you say that?
Why would you say that, Kevin? No, here, let me see. Oh wow. It also gives us pay-per-view matches as well. So I'm gonna skim over to TLC in 2009. Of course, a TLC match takes 3 of WWE's most dangerous elements and combines them in one death-defying clash. Of course, in 2009, this team won the unified tag team titles for the first time in this pay-per-view.
Miz show? Show Miz?
Final answer?
Wait, no, wait. No, listen. Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on.
In 2009.
Hold on. I'm sorry. It was Jared's show.
Final answer?
Yeah, that's what I got. I'm sorry.
It was not Jared's show. But I can continue, Devin. I'm sorry. You can keep guessing. I'm not going to just exclude you.
So you could be wrong.
Of course, this team is old school after reuniting just earlier as well. I believe this is 2008, 2009 when they had finally come back.
809 just came back together. And it was in TLC they won too?
This team reunited. It says they reunited blank. Sticks it to this team in 2006, and then they went on to win the unified tag team titles for the first time in 2009.
Oh god.
When DX or not, was it?
Final answer?
Yeah.
It was D-Generation X.
Oh wow.
That's what I think of. Like, when you said reunite, I'm like, who was reuniting?
Reunited in 2006, won the unified tag team titles for the first time in 2009. Honestly, that threw me for a loop.
Wow.
I actually don't even remember the match that took place here. I just had to think. I was thinking back to that breaking point because I knew they was teaming up against Legacy at that point. That was the only random pay-per-view my parents ever got me. So
I remember there was a time when they had the tag team titles and they had one Raw tag team title and one SmackDown one at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was it.
I do remember that. Oh man, even going in here, look, we have Survivor Series in 1987. Of course, there was a certain event, a certain match that was debuted in 2002 at Survivor Series. What was this match?
Elimination Chamber.
Final answer?
Yes.
It is the Elimination Chamber.
Thank you, Eric Bischoff.
Thank you, Eric Bischoff.
I actually said them words.
Look, right, look, we had to say it at some point. Like at some point, it was going to be said. Ooh, this is a blast from the past. We all, I'll spoil it a little bit. We recently, I'm not gonna say which promotion, but we recently saw this guy in a pre-show. I'll leave it at that. We saw this guy at a pre-show of some point. I want to say it was either this year or late last year. But as I read this off, as I read his biography off, we'll figure it out. This man at 6 foot, 238 pounds, from Las Vegas, Nevada, signature move, spinning roundhouse kick. In I can't read that. Can't read because that will give it away. This man.
Wait. Where he from again? Oh, I'm sorry.
He from Las Vegas, Nevada. Trust me, you're not. Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If you get it because he's from
the way
Las
you
Vegas,
said it,
Nevada,
Las Vegas, Nevada, Devin. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you get it because he's from Las Vegas, Nevada, you got.
I think I know who we're talking about here.
I was like, I think you visited the man at this point. Like, I think that's the point.
I think I know who it is.
Oh man, here. Okay, say no more. Here, just with one.
Is it Rico?
It is Rico. It is Rico.
I like how we instantly heard his name.
Yeah, I was like, and then we get a I was like, then we get a duo, then we get a duet. Like, how did this happen?
I gotta play that back now.
That was great. Was it Nevada or was it the spinning roundhouse kick?
I mean, as soon as you said Vegas, I was like, oh my god. And as soon as you said roundhouse kick, I went, oh, it's gotta be.
That is insane. That is honestly, I was honestly shocked because I figured Devin. I was like, if I say Las Vegas, I don't think Devin, but you definitely just stole it right.
Las Vegas cop
out of my hands.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I did hear about that. That's true. Look, I think we're good for two more. We're good for two more. We got one right here. Can't really say that sentence because that would just give it away right there. Or well, I guess I can say it. Here it goes. I'm not gonna say the guy's name, but trained by his Hall of Fame uncle. He possessed a complete disregard for his own well-being, and the maniacal superstar gained a cult-like following while competing in ECW in the mid to late 1990s. Trained by his Hall of Fame uncle. Just gonna throw that out there one more time. Over the course of his lengthy ECW career, he captured every piece of hardware the promotion offered, including 3 reigns with the prestigious ECW championship.
Come on, brain, work here for this one.
I think this might give it all away. He is best remembered for the ambulance of injuries that he has suffered.
Oh Lord. Oh, Sabu.
Sabu is correct. Sabu is correct.
Hey, why? You know that? You see, my mind was going all over the place. Dang it,
Sheik,
Sabu, man.
Sheik and Sabu, and I believe it is 2-2. And with this last one, the pressure is on.
Oh man,
this man. Now, this is bogus because I was going to say something awful about him, but I'll hold it for later. This man he's 5'9", 207 pounds, from the Whispering Pines, North Carolina. Signature move, the Halo. This former WWE superstar appeared in the North Carolina-based Omega promotion. His first major exposure came in WCW as part of a trio called 3 Count.
Shannon Moore.
Shannon Moore is correct.
Let's go,
See,
y'all.
I would have never thought of Shannon Moore right there.
The
See?
first sentence was childhood friend of the Hardens. I was like,
Oh, dang it.
I feel like if I
As
say
soon
North
as-
Carolina,
as soon as
that'd
he
be
said
good right
3
there.
count, I heard North Carolina 3 count. And I'm like, it ain't Gregory Helms and it ain't Evan freaking Courageous. So
Man.
It ain't Gregory Hills. That's a fact. Ooh, huge shout out to Lord. Came out with the Sabu answer. Look, we're giving you a point there. We're giving you 7 points. How about that? We're gonna give you 7 points just off that one right there. And look, we got about 15 minutes left. We still got some time to hang out. And I really want to talk to you guys about this dream match. I have this dream match that me and Devin have talked about a couple times, never really got into full conversation. But of course, the Ring General Gunther will take on the man, the myth, the legend, Kurt Angle himself.
Oh my
Now, of course, we're looking at prime Kurt Angle. We can look at whatever Gunther you want. If you want chubby Gunther, if you want Walter, if you want Gunther with his world title reign, whatever you want, you can have that Gunther. But right now, we're looking at Gunther taking on Kurt Angle. Justin, a heavy hitting match. Who do you have?
Oh, now first off, as soon as you tell me Kurt Angle, I need wrestling machine Kurt Angle in there with Gunther. I need like mouth guard, freaking just hyped up. Hell, you can even give me Perk Angle if you want for that one. Like I'm gonna tell you flat out right there, that man right there.
Sorry, it was on standby from yesterday.
That'd be the crazy one right there. You get Perk Angle against Gunther. That'd be wild. Like I just think of those two together, and like first off, that would turn from a chop fest to a mat classic in a heartbeat. Like Kurt trying to take him down, Gunther switches around. I could just picture them two putting on a classic. But man, if I had to pick a winner, if it resorts to sticking to the mat, I don't think Gunther can handle Kurt. Kurt knows every different way to get around stuff. I just think he can. Like, I'm not gonna say Gunther can't mat wrestle, because that man, he puts on a sleeper hold. He could just do he's got the Boston Crab in there with him. He's got just so many different things to like weaken up a back, and just the power game is there. But if Kurt can get in that one, like the quickness, whether it's Perk Angle, wrestling machine, if he can get that quickness on there, and as soon as Gunther just makes one little slip up, Kurt's gonna snatch on that, put him in the ankle lock. And I just can't see Kurt losing that matchup. I cannot see Kurt losing that, but I could see that just being an absolute classic, though. A banger, if you will.
See, just thinking of like the era of Kurt Angle. See, I want Kurt Angle like right when he stepped into TNA. Mm-hmm. It just you didn't know what to expect from the man, and that's I could take Gunther from right now. He's still a dog. He still got more to go, but I want to see them in a TNA ring back in 06 or something. Just something about them being in a 6-sided ring, doing them chops, and Kurt Angle suplexing him, and it would be insane. I'm just trying to, paint the picture, as they say. But it's tough. It's Kurt Angle and Gunther. I'm gonna actually go with Gunther, and I know it's tough for me. Somebody gotta go for the Ring General, because look, I know the man ain't been showing up on the big shows lately, but on any given night, anything can happen. And I can already see it now. Kurt Angle gonna try to get him in that ankle lock and all that. That's cool. Gunther, he got that length on him. He gonna just get up off me, dog. Flip him over, and he gonna work on that neck. Cause we know how, Kurt Angle won that gold medal, but we know how the neck was when he did. No offense and all due respect to him. But if I'm Gunther, if I'm really the Ring General, I'm targeting your neck, boy. We hitting you with neck breakers and everything. Matter of fact, might hang you off the turnbuckle and hit you with a neck breaker, because I'm just dirty like that. You seen what I did to Jimmy Uso in front of Jay? And I know I tapped out in 5 seconds at WrestleMania. But that's on any given night. But on this given night against Kurt Angle, he gonna put Kurt Angle to sleep. I'm sorry, he gonna catch him. Ooh. He gonna wrap him up just imagine a tree wrapping around a branch. It's gonna break. Just gonna put Kurt Angle to sleep, or something else gonna happen. So it's the Ring General. I got him for the win in a TNA 6-sided ring. Ooh. It'll be a banger.
See,
Spike.
and this is how I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling now. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle, and the reason why I'm going with Kurt Angle is because of exactly of what Gunther did at WrestleMania. That flail and tap out, try to get Jey Uso off of him. I couldn't believe him, made me sick. But even outside of that, I do think that this is one of the greatest matches that we would ever see. As you mentioned, Justin, the mat wrestling on Kurt Angle is just absolutely unreal. I haven't said this about another man before, so huge pause. But the stamina on that man is unreal. It's just absolutely unreal. That man can go all night. You know, like it's just
all night long.
All night long. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. All night.
Good.
Like he is unreal. And for this big
suplex all night long. Every suplex is like all night.
Kurt popping the hips, hitting a belly to belly on Gunther. It's like, that'd be wild.
It's sick, and that's exactly how I envision it. And now the reason why I can see Gunther slipping up in this match is I can see him not taking the route that he's taking with Pat McAfee. As we heard from him before, Pat McAfee, he's fully focused on Pat McAfee, all eyes on Pat. I can see at some point in time him Gunther going up to the top rope, trying to hit a splash, maybe wanting to hit another. You know, I can see him trying to be methodical, not taking Kurt Angle as seriously as he should, and that being his downfall, getting wrapped up in an ankle lock, Kurt Angle taking them straps down, getting the ankle lock in, Gunther ain't tapping. Oh, you ain't tapping, brother? Let me lay down on your ass. You know, let me lay down on you like a rabbit dog, just attacking that foot. You know, that's my favorite part of Kurt Angle, just because Kurt Angle, he's sweating, he's spitting, tap, you son of a bitch. You know, like he's like the intensity on that man is just unreal, and I think that's going to be too much for Gunther to bear. The chops, yes, I agree, lethal. The choke is going to be unreal. I think he can definitely put Kurt Angle to sleep. But I do think with Kurt Angle and his wrestling ability, his wrestling prowess, I think he could find a way out. I think he could find a way out of Gunther's submission hold. Now, I will agree with Lord. Low key, the 300-pound version of Gunther has a better chance. That's a fact.
I don't know, bro. Just because you got the size don't mean you can freaking stop Kurt. Like Kurt, I look at Kurt and I think of, look at the size of men that he's faced before, like Big Show and The Undertaker. You know, it doesn't matter how big you are. If that man finds one target, Kurt's going to pick it. Like if you mess up once and you say, again, if you mess up your ankle at any point, Kurt's going to start picking at that. And then by the time that ankle lock gets put on, you tapping out. You start working the back, the angle slam comes into play. Like Kurt has literally slim pickings for anything. Like as soon as he sees anything hurt, he's going to target it. He's going to pick at it. He's going to work on it. And then it's going to eventually affect you during the matchup. Because like I thought about that, like with like this matchup here, like this dream match with Gunther. Like I could see like Gunther making that one moment where Kurt, they go out to the floor kind of situation where Kurt goes in and he thinks just as he's like safe from Gunther comes out there to go get him, but Kurt ducks like a boot and Gunther kicks the ring post and messes his ankle up. And then Kurt just goes, well, there's my target right there. All matchup. Starts working the ankle, starts like picking at the foot, trying to work it over to get the ankle lock to go in there. But then just starts doing like stuff to work the back. So that way Gunther, if he goes for like the power bomb, because you know that's where Kurt's like big like target spot is his neck. So if he gets him up for the power bomb, it's gonna like whiplash him big time, which could mess his neck up. But if he starts working the back more and working the leg could give out at some point for the power bomb. Kurt might, you know, work the back and then the back starts hurting. So as soon as he goes to pick Kurt up for the power bomb, the back gives out on him and spasms, and then he just drops Kurt and just Kurt comes in there, right? And as Kurt just has any kind of target on him. I just think Gunther, as great as he is, Kurt is kind of like Copeland. Like he's an opportunist. You see any like slim picking, like any moment you can get an open shot in there, Kurt's going for it. So, and again, that's no disrespect to Gunther. I think Gunther is fantastic, but Kurt is next level when it comes to that stuff.
See, and all I'm asking for is a trilogy. That's all
Right?
I need.
Yes.
That's
You know,
nice.
it's because as Justin was
Yes.
cooking, I'm like, man, that would be cool. I'm like, that was the story. I'm like, he hit him with he hit his neck, but then, the next match he working on that angle, so he going for it, and he kind of stumbled a little bit. I'm like, man,
See,
we could have had some.
and the only thing I thought of throughout this whole match was just them two trading blows. Gunther tried to hit him with a chop. Not Undertaker, Jesus Christ. Gunther tries to swing at him for a chop. Kurt Angle drops to one knee, spins around, gets behind him heterosexually, and hits him with like 3 German suplexes. Like things like that.
This is about bestiality or something like that.
Bestiality,
Talking about
just
Charmel.
He wants to have bestiality. Hey, Kurt, we heard about Kurt Angle, man.
Bestiality.
Yeah, heard about it.
Wife, like
with your wife. I was like,
you know what? How about this? Given that I forgot about that, I got Kurt Angle. He is a different kind of dog. I forgot. I must have forgot who I was messing with.
I'm gonna
say,
say,
I don't even know why he was talking to Charmel like
trilogy.
This, man.
That trilogy. I was thinking about it. Yeah. The trilogy
Lord
will
comes
get the
out and
most out of
says,
this.
that neck is softer than marshmallows and hot chocolate. Why you gotta do my boy like
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes when I get a stiff marshmallow and some hot chocolate, I don't trust it.
I think of Kurt Angle's neck. That's what you think. It's like I think of Kurt Angle's neck.
I could just see Devin looking at his hot chocolate. He just sees the stiff marshmallow and he goes,
I'm like, man, why you ain't getting something?
You're the problem.
Why aren't you getting softer? Huh?
Right, yeah.
Hey, look, Enzo Amore?
Right.
You're soft.
Getting soft on
AWFT.
Even Lord says it has to be best of 7. Hey, can't go wrong with that at all.
Yes.
I'm cool with a best of 5. I'm cool with just best of 5 and call it a day. Right. I love it, man. I love it. But there's nothing I love more than talking to our guy, the boss. Before we get your lasting comments, Justin, we do have to end this on a little bit of a sour note. And by sour note, Devin has to give us his outro in all seriousness. Of course, all love to Devin Lee Crimes. Devin, is there anything you want to say before we close this show out?
See, the fact that you had to say it was a sour note, I mean, what? I'm supposed to start with that. That's like going out there, hey man, don't break a leg. What kind of start with that? But it's okay. We stumbled out the gate, but we're gonna finish the race anyway. But man, I have to say, it has felt like we never left off any type of page. It felt like I could jump back to the last time we had the boss, the Redeemer here, and it felt like the energy ain't never changed. That's how you know. So, I put like this. Usually I come on here and, blabber on about myself, but I've had so much fun that I can't even sit up here and do that. So I'm gonna actually try to, be a sour patch here. First we sour, then we end up. I ain't gonna do that part. I'm gonna hand it back over to the number one hater in the nation. See, you shouldn't have started me off with that sour thing, because now I didn't put myself in a corner that I really don't want to be in. So just hand it back over to Isaiah, before I do any more damage.
That is the first time this man just hand it over to Isaiah. I'm gonna stick it.
Yeah, because I was like, as I was going somewhere, I was like, I don't want to go down that road. You ever just go somewhere and be like, I don't want to keep going that way. Something telling me just go ahead and get out of here, dude. Sometimes I be in the store like, I don't want nothing. Let me get out here if I waste my money.
Because sometimes he be like, you could look at us, or you don't have to look at us. Isaiah's a bum. That's it. Isaiah's just a bum. Isaiah's a loser. This ain't himself. Like, it's just like a rant of like how I'm just like a trash human being. Like at the end,
because I gotta let people know I gotta hand it back over to the number one hater in the nation. And I mean, hey, I'm surprised Liv Morgan has
deserve that. I don't even.
Because sometimes I look at someone like Liv Morgan. I can't believe somebody like that has rose above like the amount of hate you used to throw towards her. I had to sit up here and tell you, like we was talking about Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had how great Becky Lynch is, that she had to cheat to beat Liv Morgan. And we ain't even talking about Liv Morgan right now.
I said we ain't throwing no hate at the MVP of 2024, Liv Morgan. Yeah. Come on.
You gotta give her that.
And I told him he ain't seen nothing yet.
That was the point. You said you ain't seen nothing yet. I said you're right. I haven't seen nothing yet. Now I've seen everything I have to see. And you was right. You was right. Look, that's why every time they go on the heel turn on YouTube, the first thing they see on the homepage, Liv Morgan gonna win Money in the Bank, and that's all I gotta say. Because I mean,
that's all I had to say.
I love that intro so much.
You had it, man. You had it. But Justin, man, we love you so much. We appreciate you for sliding on with us. We had so much fun. It's always a classic when you pop on. Tell us how we can find you, and man, plug yourself.
Man, first off, y'all are the best. Like, legitimately, I love you guys. This was awesome. I cannot wait to come back again. And you, of course, you guys know you guys are always welcome over on Circle of Debate, wherever the hell you want to pop up, whether it's friggin' NXT or Dynamite or SmackDown or whichever one you want it to be. You can show up, and hell, even the flagship show. You know, OPC would love to have y'all back on for the flagship show again. But just, if y'all want to find me, social medias at JustinTime211 on X, also at JustinTime211 on Instagram and Facebook as well. Other than that, if you want to find the Redeemer, it's on Circle of Debate. Make sure you go over and show Circle of Debate some love. And of course, even these guys right here, show these guys some love as well. Subscribe to these guys and you come for the ride with these guys. Like, of course, Circle of Debate, come over there. We do watch alongs, we do, reviews and previews and everything over there. Like, it is basically the place to be. We're on the road to 1,000. We got closer and closer. Last night, we just cracked over the halfway mark. I think 49 more subscribers to the 1,000 mark. I cannot wait to see that 1,000. And again, like I say, I tell everybody this during the streams. Just because we hit that 1,000 does not mean we stop, and we keep them going and going. And again, we want every one of y'all to come on the ride with us. But again, I love you guys. You are the best. And I will always be happy to come on here whenever you guys will let me. So,
man, we definitely appreciate you. Look, your phone's going to be ringing a whole lot more now that we're officially.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Man, definitely appreciate you. Huge shout out to Lord. Lord always pops on here, gives us a whole lot of love. Says Izzy is not as big a hater as Skip Bayless.
See, I won't see. That's the thing. I will never disrespect him that far to call him that. Now, granted, I have been. I don't know. I might still be in his phone as Dev Meltzer, ain't it?
Yeah,
he don't mind disrespecting me. He don't mind just spitting on me. But it's fine. I wouldn't call him Skip Bayless though. But he'll call me Dave Meltzer. I gotta wake up every day knowing that that's what my name is in his phone.
See, but that's the thing. My phone broke, so now your name just pops up as a number. Like, it's just...
now you see that's something. The universe fixed itself. It was some saw that and said that's wrong, and it made you sitting there with your phone. Yeah. Oh dang!
They'd be like calling me the
universe
Perkins of wrestling podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But Justin, love the hell out of you, brother. Roll to 1,000. Let's get these boys to 1,000. Circle of Debate is open for it's E for everyone. Look at the chat, man.
It's rated E for everyone, but it's rated M for mature when you get in that chat.
Oh, yes.
Just saying.
It definitely is. Definitely is. That means you might want to have your parents around, but it's a whole lot of fun.
He's asked your parents for permission to visit. Like, it's
right. That's what I love about Circle of Debate, though. It's not just fun wrestling. You get great insight into wrestling. Me and Devin and I, and let me not put Devin in here because I don't want to just go off on Devin's knowledge.
He said, screw Devin. Screw Devin. I don't hate everybody. I had me a time in my life yesterday.
Oh, this isn't what I thought, type of a deal. But like, I mentioned this before, they Circle of Debate put me on to the likes of, the Julias of the world, the Stephanie McCurs of the world, the Vikingos, of the world. They opened up my wrestling world, and they will do they can, and of course they would love to do the same for you. So be on the lookout for Circle of Debate. Watch party tomorrow.
Yes, sir. SmackDown watch along tomorrow night.
Let me just jump in here real quick since he had to do me like that. I don't know about Devin. You know how close-minded he is.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. Unnecessary.
He's not gonna watch nothing outside the States. Man, no, that exactly. I would never forget just seeing and going like, man, I thought I knew wrestling. I really don't. And I love that moment. And that's a moment I want for everybody. And that's exactly what you can get at Circle of Debate. Because I'm sitting there thinking, look, I might watch my WWE, my AEW, my TNA. Well, there's so much more that I could be watching. And that's the thing. If you like wrestling, accept it. And I know I be crapping on, some hardcore stuff that be happening on TV. And I have my reasons. I be having my reasons. But everything has a place for it. And that's the most beautiful part about it.
Can you tell Justin that comment on TikTok?
What happened?
Well, there was a video that was posted on TikTok of me displaying my pleasure of seeing John Moxley, you know, landing on some spikes or whatnot on television. And I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, to each his own. It just wasn't my taste. You know, that's all I wanted to say. You know, if you want to do that, I'm good. I don't want to see that. I'm Gucci. I don't want to. I'm good. But some people said, you know, that was why I gotta say the actual comment though. You know, I mean,
I've never been against hardcore wrestling. I'm not against deathmatch wrestling. Like I'm not like repulsed by it by when I see deathmatch wrestling. But even I was not a fan of that spot. Like that was the most unnecessarily ridiculous spot that you could have done. Like this man literally just let a spiked like nail 2x4 get impaled in his back. Like I get Moxley is a maniac with some crazy stuff. Like he does some crazy stuff. But that was like that could have ended bad at any point. Like say if that thing landed in the wrong spot, you could have like say if it went deeper into your back. Then what? You would have punctured something back there. You would have been like JD McDonough with a punctured lung, bro. Like Moxley, you nuts for this stuff. Like you gotta like that man needs to remember he's got a daughter. He's got to chill. Like he's got to not go to the extremes and be like, oh, I got to risk my life. I got to do all these crazy spots and like anything that has to do with fire and glass and nails and anything else that I want to use. It's like, remember, you got a family, dude. You don't have to try to go out there and try to kill yourself. Same thing goes for like Darby Allin. Like literally, the point is not to go out there and murder yourself.
Facts.
That's not the point.
That's a fact, and I agree wholeheartedly.
That's the thing. Exactly. It's supposed to make the whole point is that I'm supposed to be looking like I'm murdering you, but I'm actually not. I'm protecting. That to me, the point of learning that you actually not trying to do that is what the coldest part about it. Because I'm like, well, shoot, I thought you was about to kill him for a minute. Nah, it just looked like that for a second, didn't it? Yeah, you got me. That's what it is. I shouldn't have to look at it and be like, well, dang, he really did just slam him on those spikes. There's other ways to mess with the illusion.
Yeah, even then on the flip side, you got the likes of CM Punk, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. You know, we're like, hey, this rivalry getting a little heated. I gotta throw some real life haymakers at you. You know, like I gotta throw. I ain't finna pull this punch. You know, at some point in time, we gotta make this look as legit as we should. And I think that's the fun part about it. Long story short, pretty much Devin got called gay for his comments.
Wow.
The dude pretty much just said that was the gayest take he's ever heard. And we was just like, all because this man didn't want to see somebody get spikes landed on his back.
Someone get maimed, basically. Oh, how dare you not want to watch him get maimed?
What
is wrong with you?
I was like, well, dang, excuse me for caring about this man and his life, him, a human being. Like, hey, what I'm supposed to do?
This man's got a family to go home to, but fuck him, I guess.
Fuck him, I guess. This gotta be Ivan. Is this Ivan? Is this the devious one?
OPC. We love you, OPC.
What's good, fans? I'm Solo here doing the watch party for Collision. Love you guys. Love you too, brother. Look, bro. Man. See, and that's the problem. I don't really like Collision. I'm sorry. I would struggle to get through Collision, and also my dad is blowing up my phone right now. He's actually leaving for the weekend. So look, if you guys, Justin, if we could get a plane ticket real fast, me and Devin finna watch Backlash. We finna tee up, we finna go party.
Hey, that would be fun,
right? That'd be wild.
But huge shout out to Ivan. Love you so much, brother. Lord comes in and says, nuns are the biggest haters. You can't even get street escorts without nuns giving you the side.
Lord, dang it. See, I wish it was yesterday. There's a sound effect just for that. There's a sound effect just for that.
That is nuts in itself. Circle of the Ivan,
the thing in the chat. It's like the thing today with the freaking Pope's announcement. They were like, there's nuns out there taking selfies. And I'm like, they're taking selfies? Since when?
They're taking selfies? He said, what is the world coming to at this point? The word of the day by Devin. The world needs it. Also, Lord finally comes in. He says, between 2005 and 2015, and we've had wrestlers die every week. Fans can't handle the trauma. It's just not cool anymore. Yeah, that's in between 2005 and 2015. I think it's a great one. And hell, I mean, huge shout out and an RIP to the GOAT Bray Wyatt. I mean, he passed away just a year or two ago, I believe. And so, it's still we're still seeing a whole lot of this. Hell, we're just finally seeing Chris Bay, finally step out from in the forefront, and seeing him is just a blessing in itself. RIP to Draws. He's never held any type of grudge against D'Lo Brown, even though D'Lo is still, you see the interviews, he's still holding on to that to this day. So yeah, we take it so seriously. Stuff like that just isn't cool anymore. AEW definitely needs to, and we have to point out AEW because they're the ones that are doing the glass spots. The CZW, crazy promotions. It's a GCW. It's just nutty promotions that can have some cool, awesome matches, but feel the need to take it a step above. Look, it's 1:40. I gotta clean up. I gotta get some work done because the phone is blowing up. Justin, I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining in with us. We're definitely going to see you here again soon.
Sweet, let's go.
And you guys from Lord, from Ivan, of course, Tim King, the goats here. Get yo, hey yo, my people, man.
Just to everybody, just Vince Garn over at Get Your Podcast.
I love that.
Get it done the Get Your Way. Don't forget the podcast. Never.
Man, we gotta get Jess on here too, man. We were on Get Yo, and the last thing we said before we left Get Yo was that we gotta have you on the Hill Turn podcast, and then we disappeared. we just vanished when the world needed
right there. Me and him, we J&J security over here.
J&J security. Get Yo, look, Jess is absolutely hilarious. The Get Yo podcast is just an absolute classic, just bangers. Nuns are tweeting out there, bro. It's Lord, please. The nuns,
see that.
We gotta leave the nuns alone.
You gonna tell her what she gonna do? Tell him that she threw it back for Jesus,
right? They throw it back. Exactly. They can barely do 90% of what's out here now because of Jesus.
The Lord told me that if I don't throw it back in an octagon, that I am going to hell.
This was needed. and Lord, if they're gonna look, tell them to mind their business. Look, if you got a little escort business going on, some street escort business going on, look, tell them to mind their business. Tell them to mind their business. Look,
Justice 1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000%. The nuns are dangerous. Look, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're gonna be back real soon, of course. And also, I guess the story of this today, the story of this stream today. Watch out for these nuns. These nuns are getting crazy.
They'll pinch you, man, and it hurt.
They'll pinch you and it hurt, man.
I know from experience.
And they throwing it back for Jesus.
Exactly. You just got to find the good one. You just got to find the right one. They just like teachers. You just got to find the right one when you're in that class. Okay, I'm done. We're giving a wrong message here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. In the first nuns hiding
cake under those robes.
What is wrong with you? Like, what is happening here?
Double stacked up fucking nun.
Double stacked up nun.
I ain't got nothing to say. And you know what? I may not say nothing else for the rest of the day.
Oh man, that was a classic, man, brother. Thank you so much for coming on with us. That was a whole lot of fun.
I appreciate y'all. That was awesome.
I was like, we got through that pretty smooth. What? It still says